If you needed a reminder that nothing lasts forever and pain is temporary, Sabrina Carpenter is your girl. Because if Sabrina Carpenter can change her life and prove that nothing is forever, then so can you. I interviewed Sabrina about 2 years ago. This was before she became this huge star. I loved her from her Disney days, and I just always followed her career. Like, I feel like I attached myself to it, and I think a lot of us did. You know, we would watch these stars on TV and then kind of follow their career after their shows have ended. And I was always a fan of her. So when Emails I Can't Send came out, or when she was doing her promotional tour, we need to interview her. I interviewed her at the beginning of her press run for Emails I Can't Send. And who she is now and who she was then are two very completely different people. You would even be like, wait, what? Sabrina Carpenter is a double Grammy Award winning artist. She is without a doubt one of the biggest stars in the world right now. If Adele is talking about you, you're big. Espresso was Spotify's most streamed song of 2024. Are you hearing these freaking facts? Just before Emails I Can't Send dropped, she was involved in such a huge Hollywood scandal, which wasn't good for her brand, her PR. She was in a really bad space mentally, it seemed. Judging by the album, the lyrics in Emails I Can't Send, there were some dark topics, lyrics that she spoke about, from getting death threats to the whole world hating you, to the whole world creating this narrative about her, which kind of disregarded everything she built. And I can imagine how she probably must have been feeling like, oh my god, like, when I've been working for 10 freaking years, like, she signed a 5-year album deal with Hollywood Records when she was, I think, 15. And to think that she had been working ever since she was a kid, only for her name, once it reaches mainstream media, to be known to be involved in the scandal, which she claimed, y'all have got the facts wrong. So imagine how that must have felt. You know, in Skin, you can hear the pain in her voice when she's talking about, oh my god, like, what the is going on? And that lyric when she goes, I just hope that one day we both can laugh about it. Sabrina is laughing. She is laughing because she's a Grammy Award-winning artist. Check out Sabrina's side to the story. Do listen to Skin, where she kind of seemed to publicly address it, but it's such a good song if you want to talk about and process your emotions and be like, oh my god, like, the whole world around me is crumbling, but I'm not gonna let it in. I'm not gonna let it under my skin, and it's not gonna hurt me if I don't let it in. It's just gonna bounce off, which is easier said than done. Like, I've been there and I am there, and I'm like, oh my god, like, the inner strength you must need to, I guess, embody that. And I remember she said that one time, like, when I love that song, I think this was in my interview with her. Oh, Looking at Me. She was like, she didn't feel it, like, that's not how she goes into every single party, but she wrote that song as kind of like an ode to, like, you know, like, this is how I want to feel.
When I wrote that song, like, that was also one of those moments where I was like, I was freestyling that, like, chorus and that concept, so it obviously was something I was, like, feeling in the moment, but it's definitely not something I feel all the time. Yeah. Like, I don't walk into parties and I'm like, yeah, like, everyone's looking at me. If anything, I'm terrified.
Right.
And you just have to kind of, like, pretend, like Rihanna says. What's that video? She goes...
What do you do on those days that you don't feel that confident or fearless or powerful like you did out there?
Pretend.
Fake it?
Yeah.
Until we make it?
I mean, why not? It's either that or cry myself to sleep. Who wants to do that?
How do you so confident all the time? And she goes, pretend.
It's kind of like the start of her, like, I don't give a f***, I am the shit. So how did Sabrina Carpenter reinvent herself? How did that happen? And B, what can we learn from it? She moved away from addressing the situation. She let the music speak for herself. She wrote her response, she wrote her addressing the situation in the music. She kind of processed that and kind of was like, this is what I'm going to say about it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to lament or I'm not going to dwell on it when people ask me about it. I've processed it. This is it. At least to the world, this is it. And I think that's something we can learn about that. I think sometimes when we're going through a rough time, we can kind of be like, oh my god, I kind of lament and dwell on the situation over and over again. But I do think there's a time and place to feel the emotions. There's a time and a place to feel the emotion, feel it. But are you really going to feel like that Monday to Friday? Why don't you schedule some time? Be like, I've written how I feel in the morning. I've processed it. I'm at work. It's 2 o'clock. I'm on a shoot, or I don't know, whatever you do for work. There's no way I'm going to start crying about spilled milk. Process it, feel the emotion, write about it, journal it, process it. But once you've done it, move away from the situation. And that kind of links into the next thing that kind of we can take from Sabrina Carpenter's journey, how she went from A to Z, literally just clocked the game in music, it seems. Nonsense and Feather were both of the songs that kind of launched her into this crazy, like, whoa, who is this girl? I've been knowing this girl. That absolutely went viral. But imagine if she hadn't written Nonsense. Imagine she was like, oh my God, I'm going through all of this shit. I'm not gonna write. I'm gonna just let the world consume me, because that's kind of what it feels like right now. And in putting out Emails I Can't Send, that album the title of it, Emails I Can't Send, she's reclaiming her narrative. Y'all can create a narrative about me, but this is my narrative. And in that narrative, people found something and it took off. I feel like that's, again, something we can all relate to. Whether that's, I don't know, breaking up with a friend, or just being in a tough situation, losing a job. The whole world can create a narrative about you. Oh, she wasn't good enough, or if you got cheated on, I'm not good enough, or my ex-partner doesn't think I'm good enough. Whatever it is, the whole world can create a narrative about you. You need to reclaim that narrative. What is your story? What is your side to the story? Like, what can you tell the world? What is your narrative? What is your story? You know, this didn't break her. Now, I understand that she was under a record deal, so she probably had to put out an album. But at the end of the day, what the work she was putting out is no different than her 1, 2, 3, 4 album. I always think that, like, when a star blows, it's not because they are special. Of course they are special, but they've been special. And of course there's been a growth and evolution in that. But that same 5-year-old who was Sabrina Carpenter when she was writing songs, that's the same girl that she is today. What's different is the time has elapsed and people have finally caught on. If there's no audience, that's something we can also learn. If there's no audience, that's fine. The audience will come. Just keep creating the good work, keep evolving. She actually has an album. As you can tell, I'm a Sabrina Carpenter super fan. So when I interviewed her, it was actually like so lovely to talk to her, because I'm like, oh my God, I literally love you. She has an album called Evolution. Create the work, let it evolve, people will catch on. So that's something we can also learn from her as well. Had she stopped creating the work, or not focused on the craft, not focused on who she is as an artist, and developing and growing her voice, growing her sound, rebranding, we wouldn't see the Sabrina Carpenter we know today. She moved on, focused on her craft, and she put all of her energy into her career, brand, and her music. Her rebrand was incredible. She's found what works for her. Being a woman, confident in her sexuality, her personal style. She found her style, and people just caught on. That's how she kind of reclaimed her narrative and rebranded her life, and in doing so, she is proof that nothing lasts forever, especially when you act on the situation at hand. She had a lifequake. She got launched into mainstream media, and her name was tarnished amongst the press, amongst fans, amongst the people that she's making music for. But she didn't let that stop her. She literally kept going, focused on her music, did a whole rebrand, and now she is a Grammy double award-winning artist. She had a lifequake. Some of you watching are probably in a lifequake. I am in my own lifequake right now. So here is what I think we should do. We should accept what happened, heal, say your piece, process your emotions, find a healthy coping mechanism, put down the chocolate, put down the alcohol, put down all the bad things, process what had happened, focus on your rebrand, and then focus on your purpose. The same way the world was watching Sabrina, waiting for her to fall, the universe is watching you. The universe has been like, oh, okay, let's give her an earthquake. But what are you gonna do about the earthquake? Are you gonna take it and rise, or are you gonna just let it consume you? Which is what she could have done, but she didn't, and now she's a Grammy award-winning artist. Espresso was Spotify's most streamed song of 2024 with over 1.6 billion streams. She became the first artist in 71 years to spend 20 weeks at #1 on the UK single chart in a single year. She's had 3 simultaneous top 5 hits on Billboard Hot 100, something that was previously held by the Beatles. So if you need a new muse, if that's something that you want to take inspiration from, if you're looking for a new source of inspiration, Sabrina Carpenter is your girl. Her songs are super fun, super cool, but I do encourage you to go beyond her chart toppers. Please, please, please. Espresso, go and dig into her discography. Is that how you say it? She truly has some bangers, which have gotten me through some things. So I do love you, girl. Thank you so much. Come back to London. I would love to interview you again. Oh no, she's coming back. I think in May. She's coming back this year. So who knows? Maybe I'll be interviewing Sabrina Carpenter then, and we can have a 2-year reunion, because we got on like a house on fire. She literally could be my girl. Like, we're literally the same age. So if you're in the 5-year life and you're experiencing your own life quake, just remember, you can rise above it, you can heal, and you can come back stronger and more successful than ever. Because if Sabrina Carpenter can change her life and prove that nothing is forever, then so can you. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. If you like these types of videos, I would love to get into more like video essays, things like this. Check out my interview with her that I did a couple of years ago. We were little babies then. I feel like we've both grown so much in those 2 years that we've been apart, literally. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.